Today on Divorce Court.
Alvin is an alpha male, and I tend to think of myself as an alpha female. So we do go head to head and toe to toe at times, and I stand my ground.
Well, my main issue with Shannon seems to be she's a little junky and a little untidy compared with me.
My main issue with Alvin is his extreme OCD.
My hesitation with marriage is because I'm afraid I'll lose my own identity. I think we got a great relationship without this paper.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Alvin Cook and Shannon Miller. The two of you have been together for a year. Ms. Miller wants Mr. Cook to put a ring on it already. So I gave him my compatibility test, and we don't have a license because Mr. Cook is really not feeling it. So why don't we start with Mr. Cook? Why don't you tell me what's going on and how did we end up here?
Shannon and I, we met online, and we text without talking for 2 to 3 months. And we then came to an agreement, decided to come live with me here in Chicago.
You never seen him? I mean, you never seen him in person before you moved in with him?
No, just pictures he sent me, and we texted. We didn't even speak on the phone. I packed 2 suitcases, got a one-way ticket, and flew to Chicago with $20 in my pocket.
Mrs. Miller, he could have been anybody.
He could have.
You know, he could have sent you anybody's picture. He could have been anybody.
But he wasn't.
Hey, that's not the point, though. Did any of your friends tell you you were crazy?
At some point, but they also have known me long enough and know me well enough to know that there had to be something there for me to pick up and do that. And when I went to Chicago, it wasn't necessarily that I was going to live there and stay there, because if he hadn't have been who he said he was,
you'd have bounced.
I would have gone straight back to Washington in a heartbeat. If he hadn't have been who he sent pictures of and came across as...
What was he saying that was so good that in 3 months you picked up and moved out there to live with him?
You know, I'm not quite sure. He was very open and honest about himself, and there was constant texting, morning, noon, and night, every single day.
You know, they got cafe bars full of guys in Nigeria who do the same thing.
Yes, I know they do. They usually ask for money, though.
Well, now, Mr. Cook.
Yes, ma'am.
She came out there. Did you have any reservations about moving in or having a woman that you really didn't know personally move into your space?
Your Honor, yes, I did. I had preconceived, not so good thoughts, even before she came. But that was just, I'm sure that was by way of who I am. And
I think any normal person
should
be horrified by that fact.
But I did it, and I did it out of trying something different. 1, 2, I would like to think I'm not an illogical man at this age.
Right.
And I'll take a person as they are, as long as it's some truth there. And we can go from there. Nobody's rich, nobody's perfect in life. I've learned up to 59. And you give a person a chance, you give yourself a chance. And I accepted her in my home.
I see. I wouldn't have done it, but I see how he comes across and how you were reeled in. Not reeled in, because I'm not saying you were a bad guy.
Thank you.
But I could see the words that you found so beautiful. I wouldn't have gone, but I get that. You say that she's trying to be the alpha in the relationship, and you the boss, and you don't like it. Explain that to me.
I think and feel myself as being a man, meaning I make decisions for myself. I've been on my own since college. I've been to some places in the United States. I'm a solitary kind of guy. I never needed a crowd, never was in gangs and none of that crap. So I'm an alpha male in that respect, if I can say it that way, for that reason. Well, we had a conversation. She says she's an alpha female. I'm hearing her on the outside, and I'm smooth and smiling, but inside I'm like, whoa, because I felt that's going to rub against my alpha maleism, and so that kind of sparked me. But I'm still open to see how this unfolds. I'm still always trying to be open.
Well, what's bothering you about her?
She wants things her way. Well, keep in mind, I've been used to doing things my way. So we have to find some kind of happy medium.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
From my papers here, I understand you were in a profession in which you were in charge of women.
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't actually in charge. I think people got the bad perception of that. TV have set the stage of the definition of that. It was not like that at all.
It was not like that. What were you doing?
I was security, the guy as being strength, and a strong man and an advisor with women who already had their mindset in their profession.
So you were a pimp light.
Well, if you want to call it that way, yes. Yes.
Did you ever have any problem with doing that?
At the time, I didn't, and here's why I didn't. I think that it was just like any other profession that's been around for a long period of time.
What is that? You back in the day?
That was actually me back in the day.
Yeah.
Yes. But that photo was taken at an award ceremony.
I don't care about that. I want to know if you had problems pimping out women.
I did not have a problem being an agent for a woman.
Did you know about his background?
Yes, I did. He was very honest with me.
Did that cause you any concern?
No, because I know I'm a strong woman, and if he would have tried to play that game with me, it wouldn't have worked at all. I'd have walked away in a heartbeat.
Wouldn't you have some concerns about his character or his moral code that he could, at any time in his life, pimp out women?
From everything that he had told me, I knew that was part of his past, that it was something he hadn't been involved in years. So it wasn't a concern for me. It was just something that was part of his past. We all have a past.
Yeah, but you know, it's just like I've never killed anybody or anything like that. I mean, I don't. I mean, there's certain things I wouldn't do. It's certain things that are just beyond the pale, and one of those things is pimping out women.
But he wasn't out recruiting women. They were women that was what they chose to do.
Women don't choose to do that. They get put in a position where they don't have any other choices, and then men take advantage of that fact. That's what happens.
She got this thing about candles. I looked up, when she came there was Commonwealth Edison light bulb, but now it's candles all around. I think I'm living with a witch. I'm getting spooked.
Mrs. Miller, you say he's a neat freak. And it's just, it's over the top and unbelievable, and you can never get anywhere because he's always got some kind of process and procedure he has to go through. Please explain that to me.
This man has extreme OCD. Everything has to be perfectly aligned in its place. If I'm finished getting ready for work and I've cleaned up in the bathroom and I walk out and there's like 2 strands of hair that are left laying across the sink, that's an issue for him. If in the refrigerator, if there's just a little speck, and we're talking it could be a pepper flake, not even a peppercorn, but a pepper flake on the shelf, then the refrigerator is junky and needs to be cleaned. If he can't see his reflection in the reflector pans on the stove, then the stove and oven need to be cleaned.
Mr. Cook, you got a little OCD going on over there?
I have great OCD. Not only that, but I do all of the cleaning in the house. One, her hands has never touched the mop. Her hands has never touched the toilet stool. Her hands have never been in bleach water. This,
because you take care of it.
I take care of it. And the reason I do that is because I've been said to have OCD. But there's something I feel remarkable about that. If this is the lifestyle I chose to be neat and clean, I don't think I should allow someone else to come and junkie it up.
Okay.
My girl, who I love.
Yeah. And you say she is junky and is messing up your clean space. What is she doing?
Well, one string of hair isn't it? It's a lot of strings of hair. Now, not only is a lot of strings of hair, but for me, I like, and I know you might laugh at me, but culturally, I'm like Shaft. I like a neat, sharp apartment. There's nothing wrong with that. So therefore...
So, wait a minute here. You brought a picture of what?
Yeah, that's her. That's when she leaves in the morning.
That's some gathered hair.
That's some gathered hair, but it's your hair. It's a lot of it. Well, at any rate, here's why it bothers me. Ma'am, come on, give a guy a break. Here's why it bothers me. I have the right to think I'm like that in a bag of chips and all of that, with hot sauce on it. Yeah. But the problem... But the problem seems to be, I love this person emotionally over here. That stands, just like in cement. But over here, she's a little junky, like a Viking. And it's bothering my cleanliness.
Yeah, it's messing with your head.
It's messing with my smooth.
Yeah, with your smooth and your cool.
And I got no problem with saying that.
You got your sharp on and she's messing up.
That's messing it up.
She's messing it up.
My equipment is very expensive. My equipment, I'm a musician. I buy stuff expensive. Well, she got this thing about candles. I look up, when she came there was Commonwealth Edison light bulbs, but now it's candles all around. I think I'm living with a witch. I'm getting spooked.
Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
You should get an award.
I should.
I got one.
A big one.
I want to switch to his not cleanliness OCD-ness, but process and procedure, because you say it's a big deal about going anywhere, and I want you to explain to me what he's doing.
I don't want to continue to hear, this is my girl. I'm not his girl. I'm his other half. And I would like to hear, this is my wife. And I would like to be able to say, this is my husband, not just some dude I live with.
Should Alvin's past as a pimp be a deal breaker? Tell us what you think at facebook.com/Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back. If you would like your case to be heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Divorce Court. So why don't you tell me about that, Ms. Miller?
Well, this man takes forever to get ready to go anywhere.
What does he do?
Showers, shaves, has to make sure everything's clean and neat and tidy. And if he sees something that's not quite right, he's got to go take care of that before he finishes getting ready. He was walking me to work every morning because I walk to work, which meant he had to get up about 2.5 hours before I needed to walk out the door so that he could shower and shave. I got a lot of hair on my head. I could be up, dressed, and ready to go to work within 45 minutes. I didn't need to get up 2.5 hours before I had to walk out the door to go to work. And it got to the point where he still couldn't be ready when I needed to walk out the door to go to work. So by the time I'm walking out the door, I'm now speed walking to get to work
on time.
And then I'm a hot, sweaty mess and barely getting into work on time. So I fired him from walking me to work.
A smart move. Smart move. So you got to have your cool on before you leave the house, no matter where you're going. Even if you're walking her to work, you got to be straight and sharp and tight, right?
I'm a true American, yes, ma'am.
I don't know if that has anything to do with being American. I'm an American, too,
And before you leave the house, I'm sure that you look like all of that.
Never.
Thank you.
You think he's unreasonable? You think he doesn't compromise?
I think he likes to always be right and have the last word. I think He's learning to compromise. We're getting there because I don't back down. If I feel strongly about something, I'm going to stand my ground.
What is your point of view on that?
In the beginning, I liked that about her. Why? I never wanted to be with a woman who's quote unquote a wallflower. Yes, that would bore the heck out of me. I like a woman who's strong, has their own opinion, and is an individual. When I met her, when we got together in where she lives with me now, I say, Shannon, look, I say, in this life, and I looked her straight in the eye, I say, there is you, there is me, and then there's us. Some men want to get a woman into their life, and there's no more them. It's just you belong to me. It's all about me. I say, you're an individual. There is you. You must do things for you that makes you happy. She's standing right there. I'm saying this. And do you. And then I'm going to do me. And then there is us. Your identity should never be overshadowed by me, whether I try to or you give it to me. There is you.
Hang on.
Yes, ma'am.
Does everything he say come with some long philosophical explanation?
Pretty much.
I mean, can he ever? I mean, is this the psychological milieu in which you live?
He likes to hear himself talk. And he loves to talk.
to hear himself talk.
And yeah, he's very long-winded. I tell him, you lose a person, you talk so long, you know?
Now, Mrs. Miller, the point of this whole proceeding is not necessarily to determine your compatibility, which is usually what I use it for. You want a ring already.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell me what your discussions have been with respect to that and why you want it.
We have had this conversation in regards to a ring being put on my finger and making that commitment. And for me, you know, I'm going to be 52 here in a few days, and he's going on 60. We're not children anymore. And I don't want to continue to hear, this is my girl. I'm not his girl. I'm his other half. And I would like to hear, this is my wife. And I would like to be able to say, this is my husband, not just some dude I live with.
Great.
That was very straightforward. I'm going to let you respond momentarily. Do you think Alvin should commit to marrying Shannon? Share your opinion on Twitter and Instagram at Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back. And I know I'm going to get a philosophy with this answer. If you try to keep it to a minimum, I would be oh so very grateful. Why don't you, if she's your woman, she's the one you love, she's in your home, you two are committed to one another, why not a ring?
It's not so much not the ring for her. I love her, I like our company, the conversations, but I've accepted as more of my past that's got me from jumping into this with all smiles. For one, I've had a bad past with relationships.
You've had some rocky romances in the past that didn't end well, and you're not all of that comfortable jumping back into a committed relationship at this juncture. Is that basically what you're trying to tell me?
Basically, but it wasn't against my fault. Those people who I'm speaking of that I didn't want to, that I left from, we're friends right today. I mean, good friends, and she knows about it.
She's moved to another city for you.
I understand.
She changed her life for you,
right.
and she wants the ring. Now, me personally, I don't think a year is long enough.
Right.
And I understand your hesitation. I wouldn't do it in a year. I wouldn't move in with a guy either, though. I don't believe in that.
Right.
Because I believe it's harder to get the ring once you're in. Because there's no want, there's no need, there's no pull. Hey, he got it all, and he hadn't given up his freedom. So I just think that was a bad move on your part. That's just old school. Can't do anything for you other than wish you the best. And maybe, I don't know, one day he might.
One day I will.
This matter is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I love Alvin, and irregardless whether he puts a ring on my finger or not, I love what we have. I love him from the inside out, and I couldn't imagine not waking up with him every morning.
I do see marriage in my future with Shannon. This is only for now, as my preconceived fears are diminishing. It's only natural. It's only logical.